What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Wardlow here.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Yay! Hi, y'all. You guys know what time it is. It's that time. It's Thursday Night Chaser time. So welcome, guys, to the dive bar of the IWC. It's WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. I think we know who I am. I'm Ms. Amanda Jane, if you did not know. But did you know my co-host over here, the amazing Digi? Digi, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, you know. It's fun times. We are celebrating today. This is the first episode of the Boozies for the Thursday Night Chaser.
This is my maybe third Boozies, maybe four. But damn, I'm glad that Justin came along. So cheers, Justin. A lot of people visiting us today already.
And we have Chaos. Welcome.
All right. Well, you know, this drunken episode and this year's Boozies, at least on Thursday Night Chaser, is brought to you by some friends of ours. Tell us who our friends are.
Fans First Sports Network. Holy crap.
Yes. One day. There's going to be one day where it's going to be all good and, you know, woohoo. Because that's why we're professionals. So, you know
had
what?
It last time. Come on.
I know. It's a tongue twister sometimes. I don't think I've had enough to drink. Speaking of which.
That may be true.
That probably is true. So speaking of which, what's in your glass this evening? Or glasses?
Well, I think glass is a little relative. I'm just saying. And then the black velvet.
Oh, excuse me.
You all right there? Yeah. I mean, this is essentially also our New Year's episode, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, booze up, people. So, me, obviously, you have my non-alcoholic, my wife.
Right.
And because this is the last one I have until the season starts again, my last Golden State cider, radical guava. Goes our
Woo!
cider with guava, very very delish.
It
It's
seems
one of my
like.
favorite. Cheers.
Yep. Cheers,
Mhm.
Slush.
What I like about it is it has unlike your normal flavored ciders, this one, boy, that guava is sure complimentary to the
It
cider.
hit you on the way out.
Yes. And it got a lot of, I will also say too that with Golden State, they do have a lot of booze in their ciders, but that's not why I'm drinking them.
Fair.
I'm drinking them because they're really good. So, anyways, I would love to get them to sponsor, but
Sponsored,
maybe
not
one day
sponsored.
we'll get a sponsor. But for now, it's sponsored, not sponsored.
For now on, we're just sponsored adjacent.
Yeah. Very adjacent. Very, very adjacent. So, because the Boozies are a big, important part of our year.
Yep.
There's been stuff going on. So let's get to the birthdays and a little bit of news before we get this show on the road.
All right.
There's some big stuff that's happened in this last week. God, I feel like every week there's been something big coming out every week. And I think next week will be no exception. Right before Wrestle Kingdom.
A lot of contracts are coming up after
there-
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Wrestle Kingdom because that's very interesting. There really aren't that many birthdays going into the end of the year. So here are birthdays. The Dapper Yapper Justin Roberts is celebrating a birthday. So, happy birthday. Ray Phoenix, happy birthday. This person, near and dear to my heart, freaking goddamn PCO. I love PCO.
Oh, PCO is amazing.
He's the nicest man. Scary as shit, but the nicest man. I swear, he's so nice.
For those of you who have never seen PCO, his entire gimmick is an old school black and white horror movie monster. And he's got, for a while there, he had the full neck gimmick, the full bars on the side of his head, and then without that, and the dude, he plays it. Like, he plays it well. He leans into it hard.
Mm-hmm. Nicest guy. Nicest guy. I think I did love him and Brody King tagging together in Ring of Honor.
Yep.
Villain Enterprises. Not because of the faction they were in, but the two of them had some really good chemistry. And those two guys together, that is very scary.
I liked his Impact work. I felt
his Impact work is phenomenal.
He went like for
is he
everything I've seen before, he was He went Impact and I went, damn, where have you been?
Mm-hmm. Is he still with Impact?
I'm not sure. I think so, but they've kind of separated from him a little bit. Like he's kind of in the back. But it's much like Abyss. You know, when Abyss wasn't up front, Abyss was in back.
Oh yeah, totally. And I think that, that's a great role for him, especially because his character work is phenomenal. But if you guys don't know who PCO is, you got to go check him out. So, YouTube him.
I mean, if you can't get Sue Young, you might as well get PCO.
Yeah. That's a good one to say. Yeah. They're two. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Speaking of Impact, you know who else is having a birthday?
Ooh, who's that?
Eddie Edwards.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And I will say this. Eddie is one that, throughout the years, I'm like, he's had a lot of highs, had a lot of lows, but Eddie, for the most part, the last year or so, he's been doing pretty awesome.
And with the Violent by Design stuff and that whole, I wasn't a fan of the Violent by Design stuff, but we'll get to that. But the Violent by Design stuff, he did amazing work. His retag with where he was retagging with somebody. I don't know. That's not them not being good. That's me losing track of a name.
It happens.
Yeah.
I can't even say the name of our friends at Fans for Sports Network.
Hey, I just hope people can be patient with me because I'm going to remember probably when I'm 2 or 3 in. So we'll see how that works out.
Booze happens, and when booze happens, we remember everything.
That is why we're the dive bar of the internet wrestling community.
Absolutely. And sometimes I will add this interjection that some people that are in the IWC, I do not want to ever see them boozed or stoned or anything. Oh, Justin says, this wasn't a dig at TNA anyway, but I'd love to see Eddie Edwards on a bigger platform. Yeah,
and he
honestly,
had a shot at the bigger platform, but I think he likes having the creative freedom because once you hit the big leagues, you're no longer doing your own gimmick and your own work. That's very rare.
Yeah.
But Impact, he can, pitch it up the chain, take 10 minutes, and he's pretty well okay. So
yeah, I think he also it's been a very long time since he hasn't, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but the last time I know that Eddie did Japan, he was tagging with Cabana at Noah during the Wrestle Tag League. But I don't think he's ever since then has gone back because he used to wrestle with Noah quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, he would be actually one that I would like to see, if New Japan are putting people into the fold, again. I think he'd be, he'd kind of really excel with that. Not saying that the strong program in the US, but even internationally, because he is, it's not like he's not known in Japan. So, but yeah, so that's kind of my feeling there. Speaking of someone who needs a bigger platform, happy birthday to Matt Cross.
Matt Cross. Wow.
He's one of those veterans that just, he deserves a bigger platform. I'm liked when pre-pandemic NWA, they had kind of brought him into the fold. I thought that was pretty awesome. But even on the indies now, I don't see him as much as he used to be. I'm wondering, is it because the indies aren't or what the indies were pre?
And it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
It really does.
True. But he still is the old wrestling champion. And I think it's over something insane, like at least almost 1,200 days as old wrestling champion. That's a really cool little fun indie promotion. I wish they did it a little bit more often than they do, but that's a great one. It's a happy birthday to him. And I mean, just double check because I don't think there's anybody else because then it starts the year again. And Laredo Kid. And that's it. So happy birthday, y'all.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And we'll see you back in January when it's time to do it all over again. I will say this though. There really aren't any birthdays right before. I'm a liar. There is one before. 2. Oh my God. How can I be so rude? So rude. So there are 2
can't have nice things.
Yeah, 2 more. Kevin Knight, who speaking of New Japan, is having a birthday. Happy birthday.
He's part of Soraya's family Knight.
No, not that one.
Okay.
No. This is no, this is a different Kevin Knight. This is
different Knight.
To get to fly or something. I don't know. But that guy. You Yeah. He was teaming with Kushida, I think, with New Japan Strong. They were tagging for a little bit. And then finally, speaking of drinking, must wish warm birthday wishes to the goddamn my favorite freaking wrestling drinker, goddamn JR, because we all know drunk JR is best JR.
Best JR.
So happy birthday.
So, and I will say this, he is not my favorite drinker.
Who is your favorite drinker?
Cowboy James Storm.
Oh,
Sorry about your damn luck.
yep.
Mm.
Oh yeah, God, him and damn Eli Drake tagging together in NWA,
That was
wonderful.
hilarious.
Especially
Beer
the
Money
my favorite, and I
Incorporated.
think
Let me
Marsh is
tell you.
probably his favorite promo, the shoes of a champion. Best goddamn promo. I will say this. I'm sorry, but I need to see some kind of LA Knight promo like that because he's so over now. But if these people experience the shoes of a champion thing, oh God, I don't even want to know. Don't
Hot
even want to
times,
know.
baby.
Yeah. Mhm. So yeah, those
Oh,
are
man.
our lovely birthdays. But I will say, we're on the heels of two things. We're on the heels of obviously World's End or whatever the hell AEW is calling the last one of the year.
Yeah.
That Wrestle Kingdom coming is I mean, again, it's coming. I'm still not excited, but now I'm a little bit more excited.
I'm intrigued, not excited.
Well, I don't know if y'all know what we're talking about, and I'll tell you how I found out. I thought it's kind of hilarious. Okay, so looks like New Japan has a new president.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And who's the president? That's President Tanahashi with the good hair. Now, I think it's funny because I believe on episode 1
Yes.
last week we were talking about Tanahashi with the good hair.
I don't agree that Tanahashi should be president. I think it should have went to Masahiro Chono. But
But I
that's just
see
me.
where they're going with it. I see where they're going with it. Is I think that they're looking to him to revamp the product. You've
Yeah,
got so
revamp
many
the
people
image.
leaving who are big keys. So what do you do? So that's going to be very, very interesting. So is it like, are you going to do this whole, hey, I'm going to, because a lot of the roster does not have a contract anymore. So are you going to let them do these independent things? He mentioned teaming up with different promotions. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
And to sort of give an idea to anybody who's maybe new to this and just catching us on episode 1, New Japan Pro Wrestling is a long time honored promotion for Japan. We're talking going back forever and a day. And Wrestle Kingdom is like their big blowout WrestleMania version. So when we say things like, well, we don't know who the matches are, that's because you generally do. So there's a lot of new things and a new president, who was just wrestling, 3 months ago, 2 months ago. It's a bit of a step in a weird direction that we're not used to from that side of the pond.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird because also not only that, but you've got so many of their big top stars are leaving. I mean, you're losing Ocean Spray. You're losing Okada.
Yeah.
Naito is
Tanahashi, or not Tanahashi, but who left?
Naito.
Naito left.
Yep. Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a
there's a
list.
lot. There's a lot. And
I know their Bullet Club people are all, but like 2 or 3 are gone.
yeah. I don't even know really what Bullet Club is anymore. Besides like the I like to call them the Dojo Rejects. the original, yeah, because that's what they are. They're the Dojo Bullet Club. But
It was only ever cool when AJ Styles was running it. That's my standpoint. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. I mean, Bullet Club has not been relevant since
The curtain
I'll
call.
go there. It hasn't been Bullet Club has not been the same since Tama Tonga left Bullet Club. Done. Said it. That's all I have to say.
I'd go before then.
Really?
I would go, the last big time they had it was the curtain call of Adam Cole.
No.
I can back up what I'm saying.
I don't think so. Because I don't think Adam Cole had that big of an impact in Bullet Club. There were other people who came after Adam Cole who had more of an impact with Bullet Club than he did.
He didn't, but it was the start of the Young Bucks being heels, like really heel, not just I'm in a faction that does heely things. Like they attacked their best friend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like the big switch. But after that, there was all internet movies and shows.
I'm not going to discredit the Switchblade era.
No.
I'm not going to discredit that at all because Jay White, it took him a while. You know, it took me a long time to believe in that. And I liked Jay White before. But that was a very hard one. And then of course, obviously, you know, we know that after Adam Cole, there was that little, you know, bit when it was Elite Run. Cody being part of it, Downer.
Well,
not going to say that.
No, the Ring of Honor Bullet Club was his, and he'll tell you that. Whatever was going on in Japan had nothing to do with what he was doing.
Because it was still Kenny.
Yep. It was Kenny's fault.
Still had the reins over there.
Yes.
Those
I've
were
even heard
days.
he caught a lot of shit for the way it went down because the guy who's the face of a faction is expected to carry that storyline. And for the longest time, he wasn't.
Yeah. No. You know who everyone wanted to be the leader of Bullet Club? A lot of people.
Yeah.
That's why you guys own fucking faction and offshoot. Yeah. So I mean, you know, yeah. So you people, some of these people are very important. But anyways, so I found out about President Tanahashi because I was on Instagram, and I believe on episode 1 last week, I had talked about little Jeff Cobb, how I was jealous of him because, you know, we talked about me touching the unicorn hair and everything. He posted another photo of Tanahashi straightening his hair, and I was like, he's like, oh, President Tanahashi. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? I was more like, whoa, wait, what? What? Yeah. It was, but then I messaged him. I said, God damn you, I'm still to this day jealous of your hair. That thing. He messaged me back, and he was like, I told you it was a special thing in life. Never
good hair is part of the product, man.
But I will say that Tanahashi now has president hair right now because he went all dark. Kind of put it behind him. We'll see what happens Wrestle Kingdom. But it's going to be very interesting to watch the product. Now it has me curious about when they're in San Jose in January. I'm very dead set against going because one, the tickets are kind of expensive, and two, I really don't want to pay for Ocean Spray.
Well, one day.
And, you know, I could totally, you know, my thing is I could go, and if I went, I would either have to excuse myself because I will ruin that for everybody that's there. And not because I'm trying to, like, you know, like, make everyone's time miserable. It's just, he's a piece of shit, and I don't like him. And
you know, there's heat.
And there's heat. He shoved a woman. And if you think that's acceptable, then you know what?
Don't. There's heat.
Yeah. Okay. We're
just some people are like, let's just not get into those weeds today.
Let's not go into those weeds. But I will say that it'll be very interesting to see what Tanahashi does. Speaking of
also explains why we haven't seen the card.
Yes. This one, I'm really sad that our first of all, we have tears in our beers, and I'm really sad that Marsh can't join us in on this and weigh in how he feels. But excuse me, we're gonna drink one out to the second retirement of Sean Spears.
I mean, I'm not drinking at that.
It means it's gone. But so here's my question.
Okay, well then I'm
Okay.
drinking to that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying is we're drinking to the
Drinking to
NBA's
him
career.
leaving.
Woo! You know, I ask myself because this is his second time retiring, I believe, and if I am wrong, please at me and tell me I'm wrong. But
I'll tell you
at
wrong
first, I
right here.
thought when I found out the news because Marsh told
Mhm.
me because everybody knows if you are around these parts, that's Marsh's favorite wrestler is Sean Spears. And, I don't know, is he pulling a Leo Rush because he's unhappy and just is going to retire and he's going to come back again?
He's not retiring. He said fuck this because he was in and then out, and then they got him back, and then he's out again. Like this is over with. Like
He provides
I
no
think,
value.
well, value regardless.
And
Without without somebody controlling him and putting him with the right people, there is no point watching him.
yeah, and then the other thing too with it is I didn't watch WWE at the time. I don't get the 10 bullshit.
It was supposed to be he's the perfect 10 in terms of, it was supposed to be he's the perfect 10 in wrestling and everything that he does. And that was his whole spiel. As he would go to hit his move, and he would do the 10 with his fingers like a 5-year-old. And even for NXT, who has a pretty rabid fan base, it really didn't catch any ground.
Mm.
Like if it wasn't for everybody else in his faction, he would have just been forgotten.
Mhm. Interesting. But, I don't know. I feel like he was an attempt to try to get more of that fan base over, but didn't work very well.
I think he was friends with people on the inside, and that's why he got a job. And then when they found out it was a bill of goods,
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
that's my personal theory. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Yeah. And then, so there's that news story. If you liked him, good for you. I don't know anyone who really liked Sean Spears.
I wasn't a fan. I mean, I wish the guy all the best. I hope he finds his place in the business. He's clearly passionate about it, but I feel personally, just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean you're good at something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh boy, so
there
many
were
you could.
literally hundreds of wrestlers on the independent scene who just aren't good.
Got a
Like
whole
we
roster
see them
full of
all
them.
the time.
There's a whole roster full of them on like AEW.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Friends are friends, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sometimes that's how the business works.
Yeah. And then the other piece of, I don't really know if it's news or not, but it just, because I have so many people that I have like blocked, so I don't see a lot of things on my timeline. But this particular subject came up quite a bit on my timeline this week. So it was Phil Brooks' return to Madison Square Garden.
That was cute.
That was not cute. Okay, first of all, the word cute and Phil Brooks do not go together.
Look,
They're far
look,
spectrums
look,
of
look,
different
look, look.
spectrums of the alphabet. All right. But here's the thing. Somebody on my ex, yes, I called it ex, had basically said that is this what his career's succumbed to? Is he's going to be like the new Tom McGee and all of his matches are going to be seen through like instead of like videotape, it's all going to be like through people's phones. And I'm like,
well, it's his first match back. Come on. His first match back, Madison Square Garden. It was a dark show, Like, I know. I like everyone else, really disappointed in the guy, have watched him fail time after time, have no faith in what he's doing. Sure, he can talk, but the rest of him fails in my mind these days. But at the same time, you got to give the man some breathing room because he's back in a company that knows how to rein him in. You know, he's back in a company where if he tries to, you know, go into business for himself, somebody's going to fuck him up.
He's already done it.
That's not what I've heard so far.
He's already done it. I mean, there's a lot of things that he's getting that other people have gotten released from, you know, for. And it's because of this guy who just was bad mouthing people left and right. It's the same behavior. But I will say this. You know what? Him wrestling in Madison Square Garden, whoop-de-fucking-do. Tiffany and Co. gave him some like fucking whatever. He's like, oh, this is beautiful. I'm like, you don't even know what the fuck that shit is. But anyways, it'll be at a pawn shop near you in Chicago, in Wicker Park. I'm just going to say that. Give it a year or two. Actually, give it after he gets fired again. And yeah, has nowhere to go.
He's going to get fired. I think he's going to run his contract and then he's going to be done. And we're never seeing him again.
Oh, we'll see him because his fucking big mouth and ego will just, he can't let it go. Okay, he's Rose on Titanic. He can't let that shit go. Okay, cannot let it go.
We'll see.
But yeah, but I think it's ridiculous. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous, but you know.
You're not wrong. It was a nice cheap pop for them. You know, it was a good pop for him. It made him happy. You know, my highlight of that show was Seth Rollins, like just free mic'd and got permission from the back, went up and started talking about Brody and Wyndham. So that was a big thing where he was like, you know, I saw a couple of fireflies out there when I, you know, got finished with my match. I had to come back out here and, you know, and you threw it up and put the fans over and at the same time get a good honorable memory to their fallen. And if you didn't know, Wyndham, Bray Wyatt, he is on a Legends contract and all proceeds of his merch goes directly to his family. That is classy AF. Like you couldn't ask for a better response.
I think that they need to make that more publicly known.
Oh, it is.
I don't think a lot of, is it?
It just hasn't been, like, for some reason nobody cares, even though a lot of people care. But yeah, it's public. It's out there. It's on some news sites. It's not on the dirt sheets. That's probably the issue. Is the dirt sheets have no reason to stoke it. How do you stoke a dead man's grave? What's the quote from that?
They did with Brody Lee, though.
They did it with Brody Lee until like 2 or 3 people started, you know, coming in with the good graces. With Bray, it was minute 1. No one got the chance to badmouth him.
No, it wasn't bad mouthing. It was it spread like wildfire of, oh yeah, you know, if you buy this or this, all these proceeds are going to go to, you know, his family, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's where it's kind of a shame in that aspect. But, you know, like I said.
Well, there's still merch. It's still selling. I mean, that's kind of the benchmark. If a guy who's no longer alive and his merch is outselling yours, wow.
Yep.
I don't know who to deal with on that one.
No. But one last bit of news, because this just reminded me, is AEW. The vice president of merchandising for AEW, Dana Massey, has stepped down.
He's not the last one either. There's more coming in January.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that a lot of people, and I'm getting this on my ex, there's a lot of people bad-mouthing her. And I mean, okay, first of all, I'm just going to say this because this is shit that I know. Way before there was a pro wrestling tease, way before, the Young Bucks had a site that was youngbucksmerch.com. It was a real thing there. They did very, very, very limited edition runs of some cool ass shit. Let me tell you, one of my favorites, and this was probably, I bought these in 2014 maybe, was they had these really amazing like camo esque sweats and a sweatshirt that were like, the mustard yellow and green and brown and whatever. And it had their name, like the Young Bucks, but the Y was in the Japanese yen sign. And at the S on the end was the dollar sign. It was great. I mean, they had really great merchandise. It was like quality. They've always had really, really great merch and stuff. And she was on top of that, because she did it with them.
She was on top of a lot of things. That's just
She
one of
was.
the many things.
Yeah. Now the problem, the people are saying, well, the merchandise and all the live events suck. Well, here's the thing. You cannot blame Dana Massey for that.
No.
Okay. Because if you look at the booking of Tony Khan, you can't put all of these people, all of them to have a shirt there. Okay.
Her job had nothing to do with that. It was here's this, do this. And she was the one that coordinated the effort. She had nothing to do with that.
It had nothing to do with what was out there. And my thing is, it's like, okay, how can you, this is just coming from me, my question to the world is that how can you say, well, at an AEW show, God damn it, there needs to be a Swerve shirt. There's got to be a freaking where's my Ricky Starks merch? Where's my Miro shirt? Where's this, that, and the other? You can't do that because of Tony's booking. Because you don't know if you're going to see X, Y, and Z. Like, you're like, oh my God, I love Keith Lee. He's my favorite. Where's the shirt? Like, I go on Pro Wrestling Tees to buy it. Because
this is the tragedy of AEW is everything is fan fantasy booking. From the booker themselves to the wrestlers wanting to get over the way they're doing it, to the fans wanting X, Y, and Z out of it. And it's gonna come crashing down. I don't hope so. I'd hope everybody keeps a good job. They're making good money, but I don't see a positive end.
Yeah. And I think that you can only go with the staples that are constant. So your staples are Orange Cassidy, MJF, the Acclaimed, even though they're really not wrestling that much anymore. Not necessarily the Bucks and Omega.
Not anymore.
Well, no, but even before, like when I went during the Rampage time, the first time I ever went, you didn't see that. No, you saw MJF, Orange Cassidy, obviously all the generic AEW shit. Not even Darby. Like I thought that in Seattle, we would get, because you had a pay-per-view, you had the Collision the night before. I thought that you'd get, because Seattle is Swerve's and Darby's and Bryan Danielson, that's their home area, that they'd have like a special shirt. Each of them would have one. No. That was a very missed opportunity, because let me tell you that, I would have bought each of the shirts. I would have. Yeah. But no, like Hobbs, when he was in Oakland or in San Francisco, no, like especially Oakland, that shit would have, that whole arena, that is the fucking loudest goddamn. All right, personally, I think that was one of the better crowds. That was probably the best crowd they had in the Bay Area, was Oakland. I hope Tony Khan acknowledges that, because they all love themselves some Will Hobbs, and especially because they really push the Oakland thing. Because I don't know if you saw yesterday, the Don Callis family, how he does those portraits. He did new portraits. I fucking love the one with Will Hobbs. Not because fucking Don Callis was throwing the West Side sign and they look gangster, but if you look in the background of it, this was a detail that I was like, blind me, didn't have my glasses on. I was like, oh my God, is that like the Fox Theater sign from Oakland? And sure as shit it was. And I'm like, damn, little details like that. Whoever did this is amazing. One, and two, they need to make this print like on a shirt or somehow that I can buy it, because I thought it was amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. But you don't see that kind of stuff. I mean, because posters are easy to like, as a one-off to like run, and have something very limited at a show. Yeah. People
And
love that shit. But
yeah, anything that's like that, something commemorative, something, histrionic that they can take. Well, hey, that was done from back here, like,
yeah,
ECW's
because
iconic Philadelphia Arena.
yeah. Now, for example, okay, Full Gear. Okay,
Mhm.
Forum. They did a show the night before. They did Full
Mhm.
Gear, and they had a Better Than You Bebe shirt in Lakers colors.
Yeah.
None of them are from there. Like that's a I would think you'd see that, and that's a Young Bucks thing that they would do. But
It's fan pandering. Let's get it where it is.
yeah. But also at the same time, there's certain
Mhm.
things where you kind of am like you expect. Like, for example, coming up New Orleans, when they're in New Orleans.
Mhm.
Do you think that the one guy that really should have the main event at that show, he gets shirt? No.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
Nope. Mm-mm. I'm sure there'll be something at full year World's End that's going to be like pandering to MJF. But I just feel that Dana did a lot of great things, but don't shit on her just because that her husband
Yeah.
is
She doesn't
one of the
deserve
Young
that. Like,
Bucks.
if it wasn't for Dana, that they never would have gotten into Wembley. That's a fact. It
Yeah.
had 99% to do with her, not the
Mhm.
product.
Yeah. And she did have the connections because anybody and you can hate them as much as people want to hate them. You cannot tell me that even before, because with Pro Wrestling Tees, they had their Young Bucks merch store. That had nothing to do with Pro Wrestling Tees. Nothing.
Mhm.
It was a separate entity, but they had shit on there that was like, whoa, this is like that was really like game changer and stuff.
Yeah.
That Pro Wrestling Tees saw how successful it was and adopted that.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
but again, she for what it's worth, she did an amazing job. Unfortunately, as we go into January and see other people who are probably going to be leaving positions and whatnot, I think that it's going to be very telling
It's
what's
going to be
happening.
interesting.
And I will say this again. If you guys are new to us, please go back to episode 1, many episode ones ago, many. And I basically had said originally and a while ago, said it many times, this is not the company that those guys who put All In together were wanting to start. This is not that company. This is not it. So don't shit on people for, like them like wanting to back out, or some people who are like, yeah, because it wasn't.
Yeah. Take a
It
cue
wasn't.
from the chaser. Even with people we don't like, we're not looking at them to lose their job. We're not looking at them to
No.
fail or die in a fire. We're looking at, okay, we might not like it, but there's another side to this too,
Do I want Ocean Spray to die in fire?
I mean, that's
But
why
not
I'm
really.
here.
No, I mean, no.
Th-
No, I do want to shove him because he shoved me. But I mean, it's like one of these things is you got to realize, and especially if you're one of these big AEW fan people, because a lot of people jumped on that bandwagon when it started, and I can name a lot of you people, a lot of you podcasters out there. I can name y'all, and I know every one of you has me blocked too. Just saying. But I will say that if you look at that last year that everyone was under contract with New Japan and ROH, and you looked at everything that happened then and why All In came about, you'd understand how big of a deal that is. Now, I look back on it and I think, yeah, that was a huge deal, a very, very huge deal, because that was something that an independent show, no one ever would have thought that you could do a show that big.
It's true.
And you know, nobody knew. They even said it. They were like, wow, we were lucky that maybe we'd sell like 1,000, 2,000. But to sell it out in like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
that says a lot. That says a lot. And it was, even if you looked at it too, the it was tickets that were there. There weren't very many on the black market at all. There were maybe 100, 200 at most. And it's very shocking to say that, yeah, a lot of people were invested in that because it was something, especially if you watched independent wrestling. This was a huge deal. I mean, people from all over the world came. I mean, that's how big it is. I don't agree with the All In name being used anymore. I don't. It never should have been. That's an issue I have with Tony, but you know, money talks. So, you know, but it was something that will never probably be duplicated. I mean, it could, but if anything, I think that it would be done on a different, if something were to happen again, I think it would be done on a very, very small scale. Very. And as much as people like to make the comment of, well, some people think they're back in Reseda. You know, when some of these people were in Reseda, it was fucking, people might not know this, but it was very impactful. If it wasn't for Reseda, a lot of people who work for WWE right now would not have jobs.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. And even with like AEW, a lot of these guys wouldn't have jobs. And because I can't tell you right now, except for, well, right now, if I look back on the last couple of years of PWG, nobody who had wrestled there, except for one, well, two. One is a piece of shit, but two of them, you know, aren't currently active with some promotion that's pretty substantial, whether it be TNA, AEW, ROH, or WWE.
Fair.
Yeah, so that's a lot. No.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. I mean, we could get histrionic about it, but sorry, now big word. We could get all histrionic about it, but you know, I think at the end of the day, they're either going to learn the lesson or they won't. You know, and that is where it is.
Yeah. Would I want them to do something on their own that's kind of like in that, like a little super indie? Yeah, part of my heart says they should.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, is what it is. So, but we'll see. I don't think they're done. They're not done by any stretch of the imagination. They're not done yet. They're not. I don't see the Bucks being done yet.
No.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Who knows? They might get a lot of money. Well, I don't think they'll go WWE anymore, but you know, because certain people that are there, but they'll do something.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
We'll
that is our New Year's
That's
episode, I think.
Yeah. That was
news
a lot
for
more
the New
news
Year's.
story than I
No,
thought.
I think it was very, very fruitful.
Yeah.
You know,
Speaking of fruit.
Yeah.
And booze.
You know, yes. Let us give a nice cheers. Thank our bartender at Fans First Sports Network. We love you guys. Thank you for keeping the dive bar lights on. Otherwise, it'd be very dark and you can't find your beer in the dark.
You could, but it'd be a mess. And they don't pay me enough to clean up. Yeah, they don't pay me enough to clean up the bar.
I mean, I'd have to do it. It would never work. You know, Oh man, you just don't even want to know.
Mhm.
So, all right. Da, 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 da. Wait, that's
The A team.
the A team.
I don't think we have music for this.
Well, that's why we have to kind of acapella it. Then I did that, so it counts.
Okay.
Haven't you
Well, no, I
ever
don't
been
think traditionally. But
to
now that we're on a network,
traditionally? Yes, but
we should.
yes, you should.
We should talk to the boss man and
Should
producer
glow up.
lady.
You know,
Look
producer
at us
lady
and
makes
being
all the
demanding.
rules.
God, someone
I
died
know.
and called me Phil Brooks.
Divas, just fuck.
Yep. Oh yeah. So, if you guys are new to the show, this is our annual first time ever Boozy Awards that we do at the end of the year.
Well, it's my
Generally,
first.
because obviously we have our Wednesday show with those guys. They talk about the mainstream product. We talk about the not mainstream product. So Thursdays is always going to be that mesh of might see things that are from ROH, NWA, TNA,
We've got new
AEW.
guests coming in that are not going to be your normal, shoot craziness. We've got so many people that are, we're trying to book in. Like,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
We are the indies of the IWC. There we go.
We are better than the PWI 500, let's just say, or their ranking for the year. So, yeah. So if you're expecting that kind of stuff, you probably aren't going to dig this episode. But hey, but before we go on to start, it's your first one.
Mm-hmm. It is my first one.
What are you? Because you always have to pop your cherry once. So what are you anticipating?
Baby. What am I anticipating?
Yes.
A dumpster fire.
Really? Wow. You're a little bit more positive. Well, actually, no. You're a little bit more I guess hopeful than I was.
Hey, if you expect the worst, then if it turns out better, you're not wrong and it's good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why don't we get it started?
I'm so excited for this.
Sometimes
My opinion matters to someone.
Yeah. If I get some kind of like nasty tweet or something in my Instagram DMs or something from one of you wrestlers that feels butthurt, then maybe have a look at what you're doing. Or the people who are booking the product. Don't look at me.
Reach out to me. If you want to talk about it, we will keep it classy. We will keep it positive. Love you or hate
have you on air. I'll invite you to come on air.
You can call us out openly.
Mm-hmm. Or if you happen to go on the Jericho cruise, I'll find you. But I don't even know who's going to be there other than Matt Cardona and
Indy God, Matt Cardona
and Chris Jericho. And and then CJ Perry, Hot Flexible Wife. Look, I wonder if her husband is going to be there because I'd love to meet Miro. But anyways,
look, all I'm going to say is please, CJ Perry, if you can get me an autograph of her, she was one of my favorite CSI characters.
Of course I will.
Thank you.
I will find her. I love her. She's like amazing. I love her. So let's start it off. So we went from the bottom to the top because that's what Drake did.
Compliment sandwich.
Yeah.
We did positive. Now we're working our way back to the top of the bun.
Mm-hmm. So our first Boozy of the year is You're Drunk, Go Home. A superstar or storyline that you do not want to see anymore. Did you tell me one?
All right.
If you have a top three, it's okay.
Oh no, I have one. I have
one.
Oh,
you only went with one. Oh, see, I had hard times with some of these ones.
Yeah, I know. Like Will Ospreay is like right there.
No,
but we're gonna have to close off that category. So I went with the storyline because I don't think that I saw anyone that was really that bad that needed to just go home and stop the business. Uh, I did not like the violent by design whole thing with Impact Now TNA. And a lot of it came from the fact that it's been done before, and this was done in a way that didn't make any sense. Sanity, which is pretty much the same faction, was the same people pretty much. Uh, that was done way better 2 years ago, and it took Sammy Callahan to bail that out. And when you have to bring in somebody that talented to completely shift your story, it's not good. And I didn't find it enjoyable. It just seemed kind of off. I mean, it fell flat on me. Okay, these guys, that's what they are. They're being another brute faction. Yeah, we had that with Aces and Eights. We've had that everywhere else. What makes you different? Nothing. There was no float to it that meant anything to me. I was indifferent. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I just didn't care. And I think that's the worst feeling to have for any plot line.
Wow. I hate things. But we knew that.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I got more hate later.
There's hate now too. But I will say this. Obviously, we know that I would put Ocean Spray up there. So he's part of this. But there were things other than Ocean Spray that I really was, oh, hell no. Things I don't want to see anymore. And I have a good 2 of them.
Let's hear it.
Number 1. I don't want to see any of this devil bullshit in these masked people anymore. It's dumb.
God.
It should have ended a long time ago. They've drug it out way too much, and it's ridiculous. And it doesn't do anything of. There's nothing of value. What
does the kids say? It's so cringe.
It is. The second one is I'm really, and this is more of, it's more, I guess it's more the person really than the storyline, but it all kind of adds in together. I am fucking sick of Roderick Strong and that Adam or whoever it is, Renee. I'm sick of that. Okay, it's annoying. Fans at the shows are annoying with this bullshit. It's got to stop. It's not funny. It's just absolutely annoying. It's awful. It's awful.
It's a poor use of such a talented guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like this one more than the devil one just because that is the devil thing. Yeah, we get why they're doing it, blah, blah, blah. Mystery general manager, XYZ. We've seen that kind of shit before. But taking a guy like that and pretty much emasculating him when he's always portrayed such a strong character and he has so many more skills and you've seen them on TV and this is what you do with him.
Yeah. And the other, you're drunk, go home. This is a superstar, and there's actually, I think some people are gonna rake me over the coals with this one, but I'm really sick. I'm really sick of John Moxley.
I was sick of him after the first 3 times he started bleeding on TV for no fucking reason.
Well, this year in particular, because after he had to step up after Double or Nothing this year, he was supposed to take a vacation, and he had stepped up enough, right? But he just got more and more and more and more and more. And I'm like, dude, like, when can someone else have as much airtime as you do? You're on every flipping show except ROH. And then when he does go on ROH, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, quit taking spots for people.
Well, it's not taking spots from people. It's that they're, and we've discussed this before, and I think this kind of sums up all of your issues. These people are in positions because the company does not provide the best welfare for their talent, where the injury list after every pay-per-view is 3, 4, 5 deep. Doesn't even matter if they're from another company. Japanese wrestlers have been hurt
lately. not been that bad.
Lately.
I
Lately. That's that
will
word.
say this. Okay, from the last 3,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I attended 2 of the last 3. There was like very minimal, maybe 1 person.
Wow. You know me. I just think even 1 person is too many.
I know, but the style of what they do. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my You're Drunk People's. So round of
I hope
applause.
that there's been some collaborative, I'd hope that people understand. If you want to, at me about something, I have an Instagram. She has all this other social media. Anytime. We are not afraid of criticism. If we're wrong, please tell us why we're wrong. We'll tell you why we're right, but we'll have a dialogue. We're not afraid of that by any means.
Yeah. So our next category is
Mhm.
our You Got Me Buzzing. This is a match or storyline you want to see next year. We do a lot of people fantasy book. We do that quite often. And unlike some people, ours have actually happened. Don't ask, don't know why. What is one that you are looking forward to?
I have 2 because I feel like I have a storyline match thing, and I have a superstar that kind of needs. Oh wait, hold on, I messed up my thing. Okay, so match a storyline that I want to see next year. Sorry, I thought I had 2. I messed myself up. I went with Sami Callihan versus Jessica Havoc because it never gets old every time I see it. Like, if you're probably only going to see it at Wrestling Revolver or some other place like that. Completely honest. It is not a faux match. And, if you interact with them on their Twitch, if you watch their character work at Impact TNA and the other places they've been, and you see that kind of gang up, it is kind of gimmicky, but it's also hilariously funny. And it's just a good time watching those 2 work together because you can tell, like, in a weird way, when a couple gets it, like, that's a couple that gets it, And watching Sami Callihan, take the fall, getting Tombstone Power Drive, just kind of makes me smile. And I'm absolutely a Sami Callihan mark, which is why I said, Revolver as being the place to go for that. Now, I apologize. I realized that I messed up my thing. So I thought I had 2. I only have 1. But a really, really, really kind of tie-in second, if I were to throw it out there, is I would love to see more done with the Death Dolls as a storyline, because it came out of nowhere and it hit me in the face with a level of nostalgia. Sure, it's Bill and Ted's Excellent Wrestling Adventure, but it's 2 of the craziest gals on the planet, and they pull it so well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear my actual one was?
Mm-mm.
My actual one was Sami Callihan versus Jessica Havoc.
Oh yeah.
I want to see it again because they are so good.
Yeah. I mean, almost anything that she does is I fucking love. Same with him.
She's a pro.
Now, I know a lot of people don't like him, but
I don't care.
bad.
That man is a game changer.
That man is.
Like the whole hacker gimmick the WWE was trying to pull. Sami did it first. Sami did it better.
Yep.
And that's not the only time.
Oh yeah. No. I actually, in a weird way with his promotion, I kind of like the fact of him and Mox teaming together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he has
because that's
to
like
control the book. He knows better.
that is like perfection right there. That's like probably for me, best Mox is that.
Well,
Yeah.
once the show's over, I got some things to tell you.
Oh, yay. Gossip, dirt, you not getting it here.
Oh no, a future guest.
Oh, okay. So for me, there's a couple of things.
Okay.
I want to see Danielson Sabre Jr. too,
Okay,
because
I agree.
it was not a submission. And I think that has to be the stipulation. It's like the win it has to come via submission.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, the knee.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. To me, that's not a real win. So that I definitely want to see. And I will make sure that I'm wherever that happens, I want to be there, unless it's somewhere like very expensive as far as airfare goes. But anyways, that I want to see. The other match also involves Danielson. But I want to see Starks get his fucking win over Danielson finally.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get it and then all this shit happened. But I really want to see that. Just like how Ed got his, but with Ricky and all of those matches this year, I think that, yeah, you didn't pin me. He never pinned him. That Ricky needs his day. Every dog has their day. So that's one I really want to see.
I think that's a very fair statement.
Mm-hmm. And, it's interesting to me that Danielson, he's really like, for him in his last, and this is since it is his last year, those I think are the two that, need to be, I think, tied up before the end of his run.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that his last show, they will make sure that there's a pay-per-view in Seattle. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Let me know.
Let's see. Give them a chance. Somebody you want to see get a bigger push this next year.
Okay. I alluded to her on episode 1. Erica Damia. That's AIRICA DEMIA. Just a very young talent, but as I said, she's obviously been trained for a long time now. Her gimmick, it's it's very anime, it's very weird, but at the same time, she makes the character work and the in-ring work make sense. And you can find this lady on YouTube. Some of her matches are up there. She did a daddy-daughter match where it was her and her dad tag teaming against another dad and daughter or some gimmick, and it was just like, oh my god, this is so cool. And they did a vignette beforehand where there was some sort of pseudo romance between her and the guy, and the dad disapproved, and it was just so over the top in a very anime way, and you can tell he knows nothing about this, but it works so well. She knows what she's doing, and I want to see her by a push. I want to see her get out there on the indies and make a bigger name for herself than she already is.
Very good one. One of the ones that I have, there's a catch-22 with it, is the one who I strongly feel, and we'll talk about him more, but I've talked about him on episode 1 before, is Brian Keith, the bounty hunter. It looks like he's been doing a lot more ROH. Is he signed? As far as I know, no.
No.
But he's had such great that match with him and Orange Cassidy. Let me tell you, I haven't seen Orange Cassidy like step it up in quite a long time. That's a beautiful.
Because they worked together before.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you worked together with someone before. But that was, you're taking Orange out of the same stale elements that he's in and building upon. So I think that it's very it's a good choice and it's very impactful. The sad part about it, why I don't, is because then we might not see him as much on the indies anymore. Because look at Lee Moriarty. I mean, because he really doesn't do much, but he was on the indies. I mean, he was on West Coast Pro for a while, and and any chance he gets, he comes back. But I think that's Brian Keith, the Bounty Hunter, is one. And then actually, I'll even go and say Lee Moriarty too, because I like the fact he's with Shane Taylor. I hope that Shane Taylor, again, that's another person who gets that push, because Shane Taylor is that awesome. And I don't know, did you see the match with him and Keith Lee?
I did not.
Okay.
Sadly, no.
It did not disappoint, one. And two, it's a testament to how much like Shane has stepped up his game. He looked tiny in comparison to Keith Lee. Where if you go back and look, that never was the case. They were almost like equal, or he was a little bit bigger than Keith Lee. But damn, I was like, God damn, I've never used the word, and I actually told him this. I've never used the word tiny in relation when describing him. And I told him I had to laugh. I said, because you look really tiny against Keith Lee. And he was, I am not tiny. I said, I know. I said, isn't that weird? But I said, go back and look at yourself. I mean, really look and say, yeah, tiny is a very good word to say, because I mean, it was a big difference. And I think that those three men right there have the potential to do a lot of damage and bring a lot of eyes to not just the ROH, but in general to that product that is in a positive light and something that it won't feel forced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you can tell when it's being forced and it's being, and I use the term corporatized. It's not two guys that have a chemistry doing things. It's, well, you're going to work with this guy, go do things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think that the latter is corporatized.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I think it's, for me, those are three. I mean, another one that I know, because Brian Keith told me this, but because obviously from Texas, Shane Taylor's based in Texas now. They've had a lot of matches together, so he told me to go look up some of them, because they've had some really bangers of matches. So I definitely want to go back.
We'll have to put them up and do some watch-alongs.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
That might be a thing. We pick a couple of matches, me and Mark, and make a show up, do a special.
We've done those before. They've worked out pretty damn well. So let's see here. Well, this one's kind of hard. The sorry to see you go. The person cut, or you're going to miss the most. The thing is, not a lot of people were cut. That's just the wording I don't really necessarily like in this one. Because obviously you and, well, Marsh is not sorry to see Sean Spears retire. I don't know. I think
never heard of. I actually have a name.
You do? Who?
Schultz, the handsome one.
Oh.
Schultz is a huge part of the EU scene, and he's finally getting his last match, his retirement match. He's finally done. And this is just a guy who's put his blood, sweat, and tears into the business. And if I'm understanding right, he's going to be taking a backstage role somewhere, and that's kind of his transition. So he's getting one last match, and this guy had it all. When he says he's the handsome one, he's pretty. He's not just pretty. He's got the athleticism of Rick Rude, but with an attitude similar to Gunther. So it was just so much there, and I am sad to see him go. And it hurts me deep.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who of what I watch, who was really cut from anything. To be honest, there's some people I'm like, ugh, great. That means you're going to come on the indies hardcore.
Yeah.
But I think of the product that I watch, shoot, I want to say, let me think. This has been a very hard one because, you know, most people have gone away on their own accord. But I guess if you really want to say someone who was, I don't know. It's hard because I really don't think there is anybody, because everyone's either they're, either left because they wanted to leave or whatnot. And honestly, I really couldn't think of anybody. I mean, but
That's fair.
yeah, but I think the one really, if I will say, and it's a controversial thing, only because they've really, since they've taken their hiatus, they haven't been around, is the Bucks. I like the Young
Yeah.
Bucks. A lot of people don't like them. I like the Young Bucks. And, I personally feel that, they are really they're kind of the ones that I kind of put the blame on the spot monkey wrestling, because that's what they do.
Yep.
Yeah, I personally myself, like, that stuff's fun to watch, but at the end of the day, do we need that? Not always, because since there's such a big lucha libre like push out there, that we don't really need that necessarily. So, but I do, in my own weird way, I do miss the Brothers Jackson, and you guys can at me at that, because I actually do like the Young Bucks. So yeah, and I miss the old Bucks, the Bucks of old. Okay, I miss the old Young Bucks. So
Like, there is
yeah,
no shame in liking someone just because I particularly don't like them. Whatever. I mean, that's fandom. It happens.
yeah, mhm. Oh yeah, absolutely. But hey, it happens. So I guess our next category is dress to impress. Who has the best gear? Now we should always also, on this other end of the spectrum too, there's a lot of really bad gear. So I don't know why we didn't get negative on this too. But
Yeah, well,
who did you say who's got some of the best gear?
Kyrie, particularly her Stardom gear. Kyrie Sane is amazing as a performer and as a talent, and the gear is always spot on, very on point. It's flexible, fashionable, functional, and you want to see it again, and you're not going to see the same gimmick twice. So that's what it is, and in particular, the Stardom gear this year.
For me, with best gear, it's more of presentation.
Okay.
And I think that as a whole, and including Julia Hart, House of Black has some pretty legit badass shit that they can do.
I hear you.
And and it's one of those ones where, even like with Brody doing his, solo stuff in the Continental Classic, because he swung a little bit off from the normal, trios aesthetic. It was more tailored toward the Brody King that I know from the indies, to when he was like managing Julia and he's in his like little, like Brody King playing dress up, just that style and everything
You made it
that
look
they have.
good. Don't lie.
Just it looks really good. Julia, amazing. Like, I mean,
yes.
It all as a package works.
If the
very,
only
very
successful thing AEW ever produces is Julia Hart, there's success in my book.
Yeah. Even Sky Blue, what they're doing with her right now.
Yeah, but
Julia though was the
whole different level.
Yeah. Julia is definitely a whole different level. Other gear that I want to give some honorable mentions to. Let me tell you who I think has the worst gear. The worst gear has to be Blackpool Combat Club.
Mm-hmm.
For as much TV time as you get, Mox always looks like a bum. Eddie, come on, Eddie. You're wearing fucking 2 belts. Come on, Eddie. I mean, no offense. I mean, that's his charm. Big Bill, dude, you're wearing a fucking belt. Come on now, man. Step it up. And I'll even say, this is going to shock people. Ricky Starks, your gear. First of all, I've said this before in episode 1.
No, you
and I'm gonna
haven't.
say it.
You've never said a bad word about him. Don't.
Well, this is
shut
where
your
I've said
lying
bad.
mouth.
I think about Ricky. I'm not lying. His
Okay.
trunks. Whoever makes his trunks, and it's that global wrestling gear guy. He started making for him his trunks in NWA. He made the pair that he won the TV title in when he won it at Hard Times.
Mm-hmm.
They don't fit him right because either his ass eats the shorts or they're too small. His ass is in there, they're too small because then he's always pulling the front of them, and it's it's kind of distracting. Okay, now of course I noticed because that's me, but I've had other people who don't normally notice, and they were like, why is dude pulling on his pants? Like, I'm like, well shit, if you but also his old gear, the person who made it was Miss Sandra. She put it because she knows he's got fucking ass back there, but she put a little gusset thing in the back and the butt. So what does that do? It kind of holds it in, right, and gives it just a little bit of lift. But you never, back in the day, you never saw him picking his fucking trunks out of his ass. You never saw him pulling the front because his trunk's gonna fall out. You never saw that. You never saw that.
You know what I'm gonna find funny?
You do. And him wearing white all the time either looks like a diaper, or I used to say this about Zack Sabre Jr. Sometimes it can be a little pornographic. I'm just saying. Just saying.
All I was gonna say is what? She's gonna actually look at this episode and he's gonna call you out.
No, I've talked to him about this. He knows my disdain for that. He was like, well, why are you looking? And I go, because sometimes the camera angles are so shitty. If you go back and look at some of these camera angles, yeah, they catch you in these moments, and whoever's in the truck, they're not paying attention. Because there was one time that it was on dark. I told him, I said, everybody almost saw your balls. That's not a good look. I don't, thank God it wasn't on national TV and it was only on YouTube, but still, dude, like people don't want to see that.
That's fair.
That is very fair. And a lot of people are going to be, why are you complaining about that? It's just sometimes,
that's how you get removed off TV, really. Like, if you
I'm only trying to help him out. Okay. I'm only trying to help him out.
Want to see him more, not less of him.
Yeah. But also, I will give an honorable mention to some good gear to Sammy Guevara, because he does get new gear quite often, especially when it comes to also even doing like special, like maybe like one-offs here and there or pay-per-view. Ricky was doing that and then he stopped. I was very underwhelmed at Full Gear, very underwhelmed at Wrestle Dream, because he recycled the outfit that he wore at Revolution, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
The trunks did fit a little bit better, I thought, but not completely better. But because it still sags, so when you got a peach like that, you gotta accent that shit. That's all I know. It's good for TV. Looks good. It's good.
Right.
When it's not, no. Yeah.
So now
yeah.
we are at the behind the scenes. Best story that wasn't on TV or person that you like their charity work.
Well, You know, with charity work, it's weird because you really can't. They don't. I mean, there's some attempts that like some of these companies do, but I always feel like the one who does it the best is really WWE. But I feel that because John Cena isn't around as much, you don't hear about that as much anymore.
He has the most Make-A-Wish granted ever. Like he's number one.
Yeah. But I will say that I think probably if we were to look at like really one of the best stories that you really didn't see on TV. And I think that this year for him, it's very big is Big Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that with him being very open about his past, and I think that that's not only just helped him, but I think it's helped a lot of other people as well.
Yeah.
And especially to have him like I think he was the face, wasn't he like the face of like Mental Health Month in October? Because I remember there was a couple of times where I saw him doing
For
some
some places, yes, but I know he does a lot of work with that as he's, and we can all thank the real one, Enzo Amore, for helping him get his shit together. Let's not forget that, which says, the lesson of Big Bill. Your real friends will stand by you when you're making money or you're not, when you're good and when you're bad.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think that for him that's probably the biggest for him, it's the biggest highlight. And it's also nice that he now, yeah, he's a belt, but he's got a platform of something that, that for him, I mean, I don't want to say that, he like lucked out or anything like that. I think that this was the timing was right for him. And not everybody gets that, and you can see that.
Yeah, he took his time. He did some independence. He worked at Impact, and then he moved on up. They've got him on AEW now. He from where his career was, which it was shattered. He was fired. It was over with. To now he's back on the horse and off the wagon. And we all should be giving that man a big round of applause.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was hoping he'd be on the Jericho cruise. But if he's on the Jericho cruise, that means someone else has to be on the Jericho cruise.
Maybe.
I don't know. They haven't announced the lineup, and this is the first time that they were going in. It's less than a month away, and they haven't announced who's wrestling.
It's New Japan all over again.
Yep, exactly. So who is yours?
I'm going to double dip the well, but it's in the same vein. Recently, Jessica Havoc, and predominantly a lot of the Impact ladies in the locker room are very passionate about mental health, and she's been, very upfront about some of the things she's went through and some of her trials and tribulations that she's like, for a fact, did you know Jessica Havoc had wrestled Luna Vachon?
Really? No.
She's been around a while, and she's paid her dues and then some, but she's also been through a lot.
Yeah.
And for her opening up about that, and especially like if you watch her church community, she is very, she's loving as she can be to that, but her community is fostered around that idea of mental health supportive community, and that's because that's what she's developed in her personal life. So, seeing that on other podcasts and things of that nature, and her being, giving herself out there, because telling your personal story, the shoot person, that's hard.
Yeah.
But doing it to tell it to help other people to know they're not alone, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah. She's an amazing person. She's one of my favorite people. And I get a lot of people give me shit about that, but I'm like, she's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, I don't care.
And, but, it's like you gotta, like, you have to really, like, understand sometimes, like, with certain people, like why they're favorites. And I will even say, if you like Phil Brooks, I don't know why, but you know what? I'm not gonna damn you for that. You can like Ocean Spray. Again, I don't know why you would, but I'm not gonna sit there and because that's what you like. I just don't. I don't like when people try to tell me like I need to like something because blah, blah, blah,
I akin it
or,
back to the 80s. Okay. You had some people who were big into Roddy Piper. You had some people who were big into Hulk Hogan and all this other stuff. But back in those days, the one thing you could always say is you appreciated each other as fans. And we've kind of lost our way in that degree, but that's a whole other show.
That's a whole ball. And I will say this, and like I used to say many moons ago to people, that back in the day, like when I was doing my indie stuff, it wasn't really until end of 2017, maybe, that actually I'll say beginning of 2018. That's when Twitter, the IWC on Twitter, or the IWC in general, became shitty. It never was like that. All the pettiness and and whatnot. And there's some key players out there that I will point fingers at who still fuel the flames.
There's a reason they call them the dirt sheets. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but some of these people are just like, anyways, they're people. But anyways, but yeah, no. I will say this: I do miss, and this was funny because I actually had a conversation with somebody about this recently. Is I actually miss having Cody, honorable mention, with his pro wrestling tee store when he was in AEW. Anytime there was some kind of like, I don't know, Pride Month, it was, Black History Month, whatever, he had some kind of shirt. Okay. Went to charity. I thought that was brilliant. Okay. I missed that. I'm a little bitter because, he never got around to doing AAPI month in May. A little upset that, the Usos and Roman and all that, they don't do anything for fucking that month and give proceeds to, Asian American Pacific Island Heritage Month. Come on now.
Well, to be clear, not everybody posts about what they do and what they give back.
Well, I know, but the shirts though, that's a big thing. I would do that, like,
Which would you rather have? Them to be posting it on social media about a shirt and making it a whole thing, or them behind the scenes giving everything that they need to make sure the cause is successful?
Well, obviously the other, but there are some people who don't, and even that's a minimalistic thing. So, but it's just the awareness of like with like fans and stuff, like, oh yeah, this is
that's fair. But
it's totally fair.
As a side part of that though too is you don't want to get involved in too many things and too many causes, because then the causes start owning you.
Yeah.
So that can be a problem too.
Yeah. Now I do say, and I'm going to give a shout out to Righteous Reg out there when they come out with the their version of the PWI, the Black PWI. I will say that I think it's pretty awesome. There's what I like is it's not one gender and another gender. It's a mix in there. So I think that's pretty badass. So I think that's really great. And it's funny because it also this year stirred a little bit of controversy. Yes. Not gonna go down, but yes.
That being said, I think it's time to make a cheers to our wonderful bartender, Fans First Sports Network, for keeping the lights on here at the dive bar. Oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all have really put yourself in for dime a dozen, haven't you?
Yeah. But you know how you also can support your friends here at the dive bar? Is you can go to wrestlingontherocks.com because we have merchandise.
Yeah. It's
pretty
true.
nifty. We need more. I mean, you need a sticker.
Working on it. Working on it.
There we go.
Things are in the works.
Yeah. If we can make like micro brawlers, I know how we can make those like stuffed animal little like those ones that are like mini like wrestling buddies.
We could. But you'll talk product later.
Yeah, we'll talk product later. Yeah. Goddamn, someone thought I died and became Cole Cabana there for a second.
Yeah, you're having a moment.
Oh boy. All right. So
hold on, I gotta do this. The category is the holy shit moment. Biggest surprise. What was it for you?
This was a very difficult one for me.
Okay.
Because there were a couple of them that
one of them's Chris Hero.
We're just like first one that I will say right now, and I'm still kind of like, is TNA signing Okada.
Oh yes.
I still I'm like, what? Like, I mean, I get it, but I'm still like, what? Like, what? Yeah. And
great move, great choice.
I think that even today, I'm just still like, what the hell, right? Like, I just, it shocks the shit out of me. It does, and I think that for me, that's a very, very huge thing.
That's a significant acquisition, and not just the terms of skill and talent, but that opens the door to New Japan and all those other people out there in a way that AEW and WWE do not have.
AEW likes to think that they do. They kind of do now.
No, not
kind of.
Impact,
kind of, but not really. No,
Impact is right here now. They're
I know Impact is right there now. I know, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, AEW, their clout is not from AEW. Their clout is from people who have worked in Japan.
Yeah.
That's that trust bond, not the company.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
I think my other holy shit, my biggest surprise moment was I'm surprised, I'll say, is I'm also surprised at the signings that people have done and not done because of the pool of people that are out there right now.
But is there one in particular, like if you were to take that list in your head and you had the one that strikes you as a huge miss or a huge gain that you haven't already talked about, who would it be?
Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, do you see where he's going now?
No, what's doing now?
MCW. Maryland Championship Wrestling. And we talked about it first here on this very show.
And then the other one that I was surprised that signed was Ocean Spray.
Yeah, well.
Because, I mean,
look where he got signed too.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is because he was hyping up TNA so much right before that was all announced that I was like, that's where he's going. Like, oh my God, that's such a game changer for them. And then they got Okada. So it's like, whatever. But no, because I was like, this guy's going to go there. He's going to go there because he would be at the time, he would be the biggest name that they would have had on the roster, I think.
Okay.
And I think that if he wanted, because he is a very selfish person, so if he really wanted that spotlight, it's all him, it's all about me, then that, that's the platform. AEW is one of those ones that, yeah, you're the owner of it's going to make you feel real nice and comfy for a little while, and then you're just going to be one of the toys unless you're, you've got you were you were in WWE for a long time. That's a
You'll be
fact.
put in the toy box. Yep. That's
Yep,
how I
he will
started
be.
referring to him.
Yeah, he will be. So I think that that's a surprise for me. It's a good
That's
surprise.
fair.
No, but
Well,
it's just a
and
shock.
I also think that, it was, if we put the timeline together, and I have an outside thought here, I can't say I know anything specific or not. Okay. He's in his negotiation right around the same time as Okada, right?
Hmm.
He tried to big dog it. They went, no, that's fine. And they went with Okada because
Yep.
they had CM Punk money. They were throwing for talent acquisition. They had a choice. They, I think, made the best choice for their brand.
I think so. I think so. And I think Scott D'Amore,
Scott
I
D'Amore is a
think
smart dude.
he is a smart dude, and he's a lot smarter than a lot of people think. And I think with Scott D'Amore, that he knew that when you look at the two, because honestly, I don't even think that Okada was ever really. I don't think that he was ever really. That was he was going to put himself on the market because he had always said that he was done.
Yeah.
He was done. Once it was done.
Something somewhere was said at some time that Okada felt that there needed to be a last run in the Gaijin in the Western world.
Mhm.
And if you look at the company, you have Scott D'Amore, you have fucking Tommy Dreamer, Gail Kim, and these are just three of your names of talent that have worked there,
Mhm.
that have been in the business,
Mhm.
and all of that. That's why it's so good. It's just a
Well,
damn
that
shame they
and
can't get main TV.
and when he did his excursion there,
Yep, they
you
treated it
know,
like
I mean,
everybody
that's
else.
where when you look at it, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Whereas it's like, if you're gonna spend money, why are you spending money on this guy that
Yeah,
you don't? He's a crapshoot. Ocean Spray is a crapshoot. People don't
yep.
like to think that, but he is.
You don't know which one you're gonna get, and that
You don't
I've
know.
learned that
And
from watching his
leopards
old stuff.
can't change their spots.
Mm,
You
that's
can
fair.
try a big game of, oh, la la la, I'm gonna change for no. Mm-mm. Phil Brooks tried that.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well, and now
Nope.
it's pretty much told to behave.
He has to right now. But give him a little time. He won't. He won't.
Yeah, well.
But anyway. So
Either way,
who is yours?
my holy shit moment was not knowing, and I do know people in that company, that Impact was rebranding back to TNA, and I saw that media package that they put out. Oh my god! And I'm like, no fucking way. What are they bringing out? What are they bringing out of that lake? And they open it. I'm like, holy shit! That's exactly what I said, which is why it had to be my holy shit moment. Like, to take, after a long time of distancing TNA, which was, we total nonstop action. We know what it really meant. In spite of them never acting like it, and then going back to an Impact sort of thing, we thought that was dead and gone and never coming back. But they're taking it, they're rebranding it, and they're making it into total nonstop action rather than the implied TNA. And that broke my head for a good week.
I can see how that happen. Could happen.
It
Definitely
gets you,
can.
man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So
So
where are we now?
we are at the comeback of the year.
Mine, I have to kind of explain it.
Okay.
But because it might not make sense right off the bat.
Fair.
Eddie Kingston.
Okay. I'm
All
listening.
right. So, reason why I say Eddie. At the beginning of this year, Eddie looked like a chump. He hadn't been looking that good in the streets because of how he was booked. And it was just like, God, Eddie's a joke. Eddie's like a shell of what he should be, right? And he's always made in Tony Khan booking to look like a chump. Everything. Yeah. Always. Then he gets to go to Japan. He gets to do the tournament in New Japan. And I think that resurrected not only just him as a wrestler, it also resurrected his spot in AEW. And I think it brought back to him more of that confidence in himself and that faith. And this was the Eddie that we've been missing out on. So for him to get the ROH championship, okay, he had the strong championship. And now that he's in the finals of the Continental Classic, I mean, he's done compared to a year ago. It's a complete 180.
As far as Eddie Kingston's concerned, and I have said this since the day he put his foot into the big leagues, this is a guy that, especially with AEW, Eddie Kingston didn't need AEW. AEW needed Eddie Kingston. And you saw that when he's gone on the mic toe-to-toe with a CM Punk, with an MJF. Held his own in his own style. Worked his ass off in the ring. The crowd was behind him, but companies were afraid of him. But knowing that he could survive in Japan, that changed his entire trajectory.
Yeah.
And that's a dude that deserves it. He has all the skill and money in the world to be a working man's champ. You just give him the ball. Let him run it.
Yeah. And I hope, this is my hope going into this weekend, is I hope that Eddie, they right that fucking wrong they did Eddie and made him look like a bitch with that whole fucking exploding barbed wire. That was the point where it's like, Eddie Kingston's a joke now. You cannot recover from that. And I think that everything he's done this year has got him to that point, but now he needs this. He does.
Yeah.
And if he does not, then you know what? If I were him, I'd be like, I'm fucking out of here. Fuck you, Tony Khan. Fuck you. Because the guy has proven himself more than once, right? And
more than once in multiple companies.
Yeah. And he's one of these ones, man. They don't make him like Eddie Kingston. They don't.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. There's maybe like a few people that are out there still that are kind of like Eddie Kingston. Phil Brooks wishes he was like Eddie. He wishes he could have the fucking, like, the mouth like that and be able to be straight with people like that. He wishes he could do that. The only other person I think that can come close is Steen. Because I always felt that Steen and Eddie were cut from the same cloth. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say you're muted.
Am I muted?
You were, because you started talking, and then I was like, wait.
Oh.
What are you saying?
I'm saying nothing and everything.
One. We can't ever have an episode 2, and it's because of shit like this. That's okay.
Well, I was just saying Steen. I was like, it took me a minute to kind of get what you said, and I was like, wait, Steen? Oh, right.
Kevin Owens, I know. He's still Kevin Steen in my world.
No, he's still Kevin Steen in me. I heard something different.
So. Okay. Yeah,
that was an on me thing.
Yeah, those are the two. one person who, if he can find his way with it, would be Ricky. But there was an interview that Eddie did with someone, and he's like, I don't remember what the guy asked Eddie, but Eddie was like, yeah, no, Eddie's like, Ricky Starks is a bitch. And he goes, he knows that. Yeah, he's got that tendency. It's like, yeah, you need to channel it in a way. If it's like more like Eddie and not what you're trying to do, then I think you'd get further than you are. But that's just
that's
personal.
fair.
That's personal fairness.
Yeah. Mine's going to be a hot button. I can tell you that now. Watch. Marsha's going to throw me off the network.
Uh-oh.
So my comeback of the year is Ethan Carter III, EC3.
Really?
And I will explain this.
Okay.
This guy, he left Impact after being one of the biggest names on the promotion, right? Went to NXT. They did 2 basic promos. They never put him back on again for whatever reason. So he leaves. He starts the control your narrative gimmick. That whole thing. Died in a fire. Blaze of glory. And I don't blame him for it. Wrong place, wrong time. Really. And then he shows up at NWA. Puts on arguably the match of his career, carrying the other guy, Tyrus, who's... I get why he was there, but I don't get why he was there. You know? But he carried Tyrus through that entire match to be the face of their company, and every match he's done he's gotten better. And I think going from a guy that was pretty much kicked out the door of the kingdom to come back in to being a title holder for a prestigious promotion, because NWA, love it or hate it, is still one of the oldest promotions.
Yeah.
And I think if you can come back from that is a hell of a comeback. You know, I could talk about, Eddie Kingston. I love Eddie Kingston. I love him to death. But his comeback has been more material in just that sort of time. And in my mind, I went, who has really screwed themselves and finally made their way up? You know?
There is one more comeback of the year.
That goes to Marty Scurll 100%.
Absolutely.
We had to discuss this one. Marty Scurll got raked over the social media coals. It cost him his contract with NJPW. It cost him a lot of bookings in major promotions. He had to go back, work the indies, rebuild himself, bigger, stronger, faster. He's now working Mexico, which there's no shame. That's a start. We don't know where he's going, but we know he's going. And if you don't believe us, go check his YouTube page. His most recent promo has arguably it is better in my mind than the one that he cut over in New Japan before he was let go. Like, it is such a great vignette. Like, this guy's ready to get back into business, and everything else is just a sideshow.
Yep. For me, when Conan earlier this year had said that Marty Scurll was a bigger star than anybody that's on an AEW roster, is a fact. That is a fact. It woke a lot of people up. It upset a lot of people. But Conan's giving him the opportunity.
Conan knows stars.
Bring it back. There's no shame in that at all.
LAX?
Yep.
Like, you can go back through Conan's storied fucking career.
Mm-hmm.
That man has a deep knowledge of champions, of people who will draw money. Yeah.
People cannot tell me, any of these stupid people, right, that, this whole, like, Me Too shit, okay? You can't tell me that Marty did not draw money. Because when I see people like, oh, now I got to get rid of this, I have this stupid, Marty
Hold on.
Squirrel shirt. blah, blah,
We got to make a preface, so people are going to take you way out of context. We don't need to go
Okay.
to that point.
blah. Okay.
It's not that the Me Too movement did not have facts at play, but some people, a minority, we will say, misused that movement to benefit their own social clout and standing.
Mhm.
And some people who were just the bigger names got raked over the coals than the people who were the worst offenders.
Yep.
Yeah, by a lot. Like
Marty was the one that was the biggest name that got raked over the coals, who really didn't do anything in comparison to some of the others.
whereas
there.
Joey Ryan made it a habit of
Oh,
putting
don't even
people's
mention.
hands on their crotch. But what do I know? He only did it in ring. He's caught on camera 1,000 times. Sure,
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Yeah. And I mean, the other part with like Marty, and okay, I'm bringing this because I was watching it this weekend. Okay. Don't know why, but I didn't realize that they did a Surviving R. Kelly, a third edition, because I've watched all of them. Didn't realize this. So I was watching on Netflix, right? And because, it was talking about when he went on trial in New York and how he was convicted. There is a big difference between R. Kelly, who is now a convicted pedophile, and with Marty. Because R. Kelly, if I'm not mistaken, there were at least 4, I think on this particular one in New York, there were like at least 23 charges against him.
23 charges, 4 people they could charge for, and I think there's a ton of others. Like this has been throughout
all
his
of
career.
those. He was convicted of all of those. They did another trial somewhere else, and he wasn't convicted for all of them. But I think in part they were saying there was like 56. I don't know. I could be wrong on the number. But okay, you cannot tell me, and I'm not discrediting that girl's story. I'm not discrediting whatever. But it has turned into such a story that it's not what it was. That it's interesting to me because it's turned into a completely different story. Whereas when you look at the R. Kelly and these women's stories, it's not. It's pretty much the same behavior.
No.
Woman after woman after woman, and I feel that, again, it was unjust. R. Kelly, yeah, I think it was disgusting that, and people are going to get on me for this, but there were these fans that were outside the New York trial that were like, free R. Kelly and all this other stuff, and I know people they do to this day are like, you're an enabler, you're a groomer, I'm like, no, that's not what it is. He's like, you need to go back and look. Conveniently, I went to go look. She and the father deleted everything. So what does it tell you? Tells me a lot.
We really can't get into the specifics, but at least something we can say is that in those situations, that can, in the wrong hands, damage somebody's career for clout. And it did happen. It happened to many people. If there was significant trials held in various states over this, and that's just not what we're about. And we wish him the best, even if he's the biggest scumbag in the world at current, nobody's got a complaint. And somebody with, some serious knowledge of the business and situations is putting him to work. So I don't know what that means, but I also know that means something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But my thing is this. Yeah. There are some people, yes, they're bad people.
Yep.
This isn't the case. Will he ever be on like televised wrestling like that? Hard to say. I hope.
The guy's working hard enough,
Yeah, I hope. And I think that maybe one day that's going to happen. But the thing is, everyone's going to have to accept it.
At some point, at some juncture.
Yep.
Even if it's a a redemption arc or whatever people want to call it. At some point, I
Mhm.
think that's going to be something they're going to have to wrestle with.
And my big thing is, I've always said this, is I might like something that you don't like, but you know what? I am never gonna damn somebody for liking what they like. And I wish that people would exchange. It would give me the same courtesy.
Yeah,
And this is the topic, and I will die on that hill for that.
This is why we're the dive bar of the IWC. For real.
Mhm.
So,
and I will say, it's
mhm.
great to see Marty is wrestling in the States. When I got to see him in Arizona, that
Right.
was like the best. I mean, for me, not only just seeing him wrestle, but obviously, like, hung out the whole day, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying that, oh my God, whatever, right? But it was amazing. And that was probably, for me, myself, probably one of my favorite things that I did this year was that. And yes, it was harder than Hades and all that other shit, but that was like the best. I wish I could have gone to TJ to see him wrestle in AAA, but I have a feeling that he's probably going to get a match against Vikingo.
I would love to see that.
And I don't know, since Tony Khan has actually had some of his AAA matches on air, I would not be surprised if Conan was to get that to happen.
It makes sense. Sounds like good business to me.
But I would think it would be more on ROH than it would be. But Marty's such a huge name that you kind of have to have it on a Dynamite.
I think it would be, a best of 3, but that's just me.
Yeah, I do. And but he's got a great comeback. And if you don't like it, you can at me.
You could at me, I just won't care.
I won't care, because I'll tell you guys, there is nothing that I haven't heard people say. Most of them are anonymous, which I'm like, whatever. If you have balls, just tell me how you feel. If you feel that strongly, don't hide behind a fake avatar. Don't behind a fake account. Tell me, because I have much more respect for you than to hide. Because I'm not. I'm one of these people. I'll tell you how it is 10 ways to Sunday, and yeah. But that's the lovely part about the Dive Bar. Like, I respect everybody's opinions or whatever. You don't have to like everything I like, because I know a lot of people are like, ooh, yeah.
So, speaking of that, we are on Rookie of the Year.
Julia Hart.
Julia Hart. I 1000% agree that is a great choice.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus. I mean, I was thinking about this like the other day. I was looking for something on Dark, because it was more of like, because I really enjoyed, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed Varsity Blondes. I thought that Pillman and Griff Garrison had a great chemistry, and little Julia was really cute right there, right?
Right.
But to see where she was then to now, it's like, what the hell? And because AEW does not have the best women's division at all, really, I think that it's a testament that she's
her and
worked
Tony Storm, I think, are carrying that entire division.
Now that Thunder Rosa's back,
we'll have to see how vested she's in it. We don't know yet.
Well, you know what? Mel wanted to come back. I don't like how she was portrayed, and she's, of course, friend of the show. Okay, don't like how she was portrayed out there. And I don't blame her. If she's mad or she feels bitter, I don't blame her, because Tony Khan, I feel, created this, false narrative about her, that he let one of his favorites, twist it to make her look like the good person. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. But I really feel that I was so excited when she came back. And even if it wasn't in front of San Antonio, her hometown her hometown, she would have gotten that reaction anywhere because she is beloved. People love her. Okay. Can't say that about the Good Doctor, but you can say that about Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
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 I went off
Julia,
rails with mine. Yeah, I think that is a great choice. I'm here for it. I went with Shota Umino.
I love Shota. Shooter. Why Shooter?
Yes. Why Shooter?
Yeah.
Well, like, talk about a guy who hasn't been in the business terribly long and is now getting, a semblance of a push, which, in America, you get a push, if the crowd just sneezes the right way in your direction. In Japan, it takes time. You have to be a proven product before they're going to put their money into you. And they're now starting to. So I want to see more of what he's going to do. I look forward to everything that's going to come out of this because dude puts it out there. It out there.
Oh, yeah.
I would even say that he, with a little time, is the next version of Shinsuke Nakamura. New Japan version.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's
absolutely
where I see him.
I always felt that he should have gotten a push more so than Ren Narita did.
Yeah, well,
because they were the same, Lions class, and I always felt that Shooter, was a better wrestler and a little bit of a better entertainer as far as that goes, because with Japanese,
look where one is now.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, Shooter, good choice. But also, if I were to add another, well, is it fair to add? Yeah, I'm going to add another person for Rookie of the Year because I have a guy.
Okay.
Konosuke Takeshita.
Ooh, Takeshita, very good.
He, I had seen stuff of his before, and I'm not going to lie, I was so bummed when I could not see him at West Coast Pro earlier this year because I knew that there was something special. And this was before he was signed, and I knew there was something special. And then when I saw the match back, I was like, oh, yeah, yeah. I had to have Willis buy my shirt. I'm like, Willis, can't go to the show. Can you buy me my shirt, my Takeshita shirt, please? Because he had ones that he had just made for that little run he was doing. And I got one. And like, people were like, holy shit, where'd that come from? I go, it's an Indy run. Like Willow Nightingale and I were talking about that because I wore it to the bowling and whatnot, because that was the first time I got to meet him. And the guy is just amazing. Like, he's one where, damn, like, he could be all of like the greatest hits of Japanese wrestling rolled all into one guy. He can be the Okada, the Murder Grandpa, the Tanahashi, the Naito. He can be everybody.
Yeah.
The Inoki, everything, because he's that fucking good. And he just it seems like he just gets better and better, So I do kind of like this little angle that he's in. So kind of liking that.
All right. This is you.
So the breakout performer this year.
Ooh.
This is a hard one. This is a hard one. But who's yours?
Masha Slamovich.
Oh, now why Masha?
Masha, by indie terms, well known. A couple of spot pieces here and there. But ever since the NWA Empower show, it's been all over the place. Her work, singles and tag team at Impact, has been top notch. Everywhere else she's been, top notch. Like, talk about somebody that is taking that one moment from the NWA Empower show and has just launched a career in places she never got a shot at going before. And I'm here for it.
I've got two.
Okay.
First one, Speedball Mike Bailey.
Oh, I'll get to him later.
And I will tell you, when Mike Bailey came back and was finally able to wrestle in the States again, it was one of these ones that I could not wait, because obviously visa issues, and people didn't know why I couldn't wrestle in the States. And I could not wait. And I've seen this year, not just what he's done on Impact TNA, but matches I've seen in person have been phenomenal. I mean, shit. I feel like I should have paid more for what I'd seen, because it was that fucking good, that quality, and how he's helped a lot of people, especially in the scene here on the West Coast, because West Coast probably get him all the time. How he's really elevated a lot of people on the scene. And I think that I'm glad he's got that platform with being a TNA. I'm really, really glad. And I think that this really was his year. I mean, because, and every time I turned around, and not only just in with what he's doing in, TNA, but a lot of his indie matches too. Things he's done with GCW, things he's done here and there. I think that that's really has, like, he's there. I mean, yeah, granted the year before he was back, but no. This last year was, it really just, the rocket straps were just strapped on him, and so that's one. And the other, only because of the fact that I know he doesn't really fit in the other categories, but honestly, toward the end of this year, Ricky Starks, because the program with Punk and all of that, it was great. He was finally getting something. It was like, okay, there's no turning back. They're going to give this guy a shot, because basically this was it. It's either you do or die, and if it dies, then he's gone. He's definitely gone, because he's not sticking around anymore. And then I'll be, I told you so, from back in the day. That wasn't the place to go. But I feel that, yes, he's like the little engine that could. And yeah, when fucking Phil decided to self-implode, I was like, how fucking selfish of you, Phil. So selfish. Okay? Because you made this guy a believer in you, and you just kind of fucked it up for him. You fucked it up for a lot of people. And I'm like, there's no way. This guy's finally there. He's there. He's getting these, like, little bits. Like, he got that bit, his momentum started at the beginning of the year when he, like, he was coming off the heels of wrestling MJF for that belt.
Yep.
And then he got stuck with Jericho for a long time. And then we're like, oh my God, finally that's over. Well, what's he doing? Nothing. And then this is his opportunity again. And what happened? And so I know when he made that promo, when he, is going to say, I'm not going to lie, I'm upset. And all of that came from the heart, because you know what? I know that he probably was just fucking devastated. Never asked, but I know he was, because, this was finally that moment. And these don't come very often in that company. And then it just fucking got taken away by no fault. Nothing. He didn't do anything. That, yeah, it's bad. And to have, I don't know if Danielson decided to step up, because it's never really been said, or if TK asked Brian if he would. I don't know. That's never been said. But all I know is that match, when you saw that strap match, I was just like, oh my God, because I've never seen him do anything like that, you know? Like I was freaked out when he did when Darby had the skateboard with the thumbtacks on it and he shot off his back because there was a point where I thought he might have like hit a nerve because he was shaking so much. Like it was his like I think it was his left leg or his right leg. I can't remember. One of his legs. But this, I'm like, for him to get slapped in that little pretty little face of his and all those welts and those scars, which probably some of them will probably stay till the rest of his life. And to see how they've built that confidence in him and knows that he can do that kind of shit to now he has a belt on him. Yeah. I think that that's for him. That was a huge breakout. This was the thing that he needed. So is it too little too late? Time will tell. I don't know.
All right. I think we're down to the one more round. Something we want to see more of that we didn't see enough of.
You know, I'm going to say that I really think that I wished that they started the Timeless Tony Storm shit a lot earlier than they have. Because this is the most, I think, is probably some of the most amazing character work that's come out of there. Period. And apparently, like I think I mentioned this on episode 1, that I guess when she's been doing commentary, because you know how they go in picture with picture, the Canadian feeds get the whole thing, so they actually can hear the commentary and whatnot and see it. And I wished we could, because apparently, like she really took it way over the top and takes it way over the top. And I would have loved
that's what I've been hearing. Is she sticks a complete gimmick, but it's just so over.
Yeah. It's oh my God, it's like amazing. I think it's amazing. And I think that, you know, that's it, to be able to kind of make fun of yourself, you know, and that really sets her apart. And it's kind of cool because, you know, it's not your traditional, like, she's not your traditional heel. She's not really a face. Yeah, she's that in between, because you don't know, but she's so fabulous. And I think that that's where we need more.
It's classy yet bitchy.
I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I loved when she did the commentary the first time when she was like, "Oh, are we doing this in color or black and white?" Yeah. That's commitment. That's such commitment. And then with her and Renee and those interviews and the chemistry, I mean, that's just great. I love it.
Every bit of it.
It's so great. Who is yours?
Mine is, and God, I feel like I'm harping on this, but the Death Dolls. Like, that was because I'd followed the whole Sue Young, Jessica Havoc, Rosemary thing. I was a huge Rosemary mark for a long time. And then to see them back together and Taya Valkyrie and the character shift of Jessica Havoc going into Bill and Ted's Excellent Wrestling Adventure. That is how I term it. And to watch these characters, like, instead of it being just a complete switch, there are other people who've interacted with these characters who are going, wait, aren't the hell? Like, and it's so good. And a lot of that interaction, and I'm waiting for this more, is Father James Mitchell is one of those key pivots into that story.
I was going to say that, you know, once he was part of that, I was just like, where can this go now?
Oh, and it went places.
Yeah.
But like this, it's lighthearted, but the girls can work you know, girls, I apologize, ladies can work. And they're very good at what they do. Their character acting is top notch. Like, if I were to put three pinnacles of the modern TNA/Impact era, it would be Sue Young, Jessica Havoc, Rosemary, or Courtney Rush. Those are your three pinnacle women. Yeah, others are great in their own ways, but those three have carried that company on their back at one point or another, without question.
Yeah.
I
I mean, who doesn't love Susie?
Trust me, I'm a Susan. Holy shit, that woman.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. 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 I mean, come on now. I mean, yeah. If y'all don't know, y'all don't know. Yeah, y'all don't know.
Yeah, like, just I need to get that as a presentation point that I can put up that goes, trust me, I'm a Susan.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, if you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
you-
If you don't, then you should know. You should
You
go
should
find
be
out.
watching Impact more.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um yeah. So, well, you know, we're down to the wire here. We got a couple more. Right now, what was your this is awesome moment of the year?
Oh, ours is probably the same.
Mhm.
Chris Hero's return, baby.
Mhm.
'Cause,
Absolutely.
yeah, his return at
Absolutely.
West Coast Pro.
Mhm. Absolutely. I can't, you know what? I he says it's only going to be, special things. He did tag with Kenta. Um that's still going to be the one thing that we're never going to get with Kenta and Phil, because I had a feeling that was going to happen. Tony Khan would have done it at some point. But having Hero back and just the resurgence of, all of a sudden he's going on Talk is Jericho. He's going on, all these different other podcasts. And I think that with Hero, this was one for me that's a long time coming. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, because honestly, let's go there. I mean, when we go there to look at the next category, which is like match of the year, that's like one of my top 3 was seeing him and Thatcher. It was incredible because it was like he never missed a beat. Never. And that match is awesome. So I tell people, go back and watch it. And I think that that's something that definitely we want to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
gang, we're going to keep you guys waiting for the final 4 because that's what we do and that's how we roll. Because tell me, yep, yeah, this is the last ones. Yeah, they're kind of there because I'm not going to tell you any more of my matches of the year, but know that was one of them. Where can we all find you at?
Digi Damon, WOTR on Instagram. That is my only social media.
Awesome. And you guys can find me at Ms. Amanda Jane anywhere, X, Instagram. You can find me there. Now, as we wrap up, at least this evening, because we have our top 4 that we're going to do, we will wait to do the new year, our new year thankful for. So let's just tease everybody with a little thankful right now. Did you go for it?
I am thankful for wrestling on the rocks. That's a start. I'll give you a second. Second/third. Thursday Night Chaser and Miss Amanda Jane letting me side chair this gimmick Get the hearts, get the peaches.
Hearts and
But there's
peaches.
more. I'm thankful for a lot more. And you, my dear?
Well, you know, I'm thankful for you. I'm having
Oh,
such
God.
an awesome coast. This has been amazing. If you were saying this is awesome moment of the year, I think that there's two. One of them is when we kicked off episode 1 on the Fans First Sports Network. Woohoo!
Fair?
And then when Digi became my co-host. And if y'all don't like that, then I'm sorry.
That was a
Maybe
fan
try-
choice. We took a poll.
Yeah. And you know,
Literally.
honestly, like seriously, if you don't like it, you can try when Bishop is with Clump, but I can tell you'll come back.
Yep.
I don't
There's
know
a reason.
why, but you'll come
We're
back.
called the chaser for a reason, right?
Yep. There's a reason we wrap up this week. So, of course, I'm also thankful for each and every one of you for listening, and of course, our buddies running the dive bar, the Fans First Sports Network. Thank you.
Thank you for
So,
being
and
our
of course,
bartender.
Rough
Don't forget
Marsh,
producer Marsh, producer lady.
producer Marsh, partridges and pear trees, and all that other fun stuff, and peaches. So,
Hello,
on that
Kitty.
note, guys, I think it's last call, everybody.
Yep. Last call. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support and buy us a drink by putting the I in subscribe and reviewing our podcast. And cheers to Fans First Sports Network for keeping the dive bar lights on.
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.